Om brothers, uh, Jai Prabhupada, yes? So this video will be how to learn Chinese for free. I am steadfastly against paying money to learn any language, and I believe that all languages can be learned for free online with materials available, and there's a lot of social networking tools to your advantage. You don't even necessarily have to go to a country in order to practice speaking their language or using their language. So here we go. How to learn Chinese for free. The first caveat I have to do is make a little lesson here on what real Chinese is, and you have to avoid the scholastic, well, we call them scholartards. They're people that oppress the students, and they're trying to get more money from the students, and their curriculum doesn't make any sense, and the object is to get you to completely dependent forever on schools, teachers, and constantly paying them money. And so there exists, just like in Korean, there exists a scholastic Chinese that is propagated by scholartards, and there is the practical, actual Chinese that is spoken. And what we're here for today, of course, is the second one. And if you want to learn Chinese for free, you're going to need to filter out the scholartard Chinese and avoid any apparition of this scholartard Chinese. And the number one aspect of the scholartard Chinese is the dippy third tone, and they tell you that there are four tones. This is the scholartard version. There are four tones in Chinese: high, up, dip, down. And then they say toneless. Some people call that the fifth tone. There are two major problems with that, and you need to learn what these problems are before you go about learning your free Chinese online. Number one, there is no dippy third tone. That is very advanced Chinese, used at the end of some sentences, used mostly, in TV or for extra emphasis. It's sort of like a long pronunciation of the word the as the, and you don't have to do it, and I recommend that you don't do it. In the first 2 years of learning Chinese, you don't want to do that, because the dip goes down and up, and it will confuse your down inflection with the up inflection, and then your head gets all jumbled, and you're paying scholartards year after year to learn Chinese, which you think is impossible, when it's a very easy language. And so, number one, the third in the sequence is not a dip. Remember that. I'll say that again. The third in the sequence is not a dip. It is simply a low tone, like this. Low. There you go. Now, when they say 4 or 5 tones, this is incorrect English. So somebody translated how to speak Chinese. They translated it the wrong way. A tone is something you sing. So when we're learning about how we're going to attack Chinese, we get the idea that we sing Chinese, and this is not true. You sing the first and the third in the sequence. First is high, third is low. And those are tones like you sing. So I could be like low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, high, low. And this is all correct. And I'm singing, and I'm pronouncing correctly tones in Chinese. Now, the second and fourth, up and down, those are inflections. They aren't tones. And so in your brain, you have to be very, very certain that when you see a 2 next to your Chinese word, or a 4, indicating that it's going up or it's going down, that you're not singing, because those are not tones at all. Those are called inflections, people. Those are called inflections. So, what we call 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. High, up, low, down. Those are called tones and inflections. 1, 3. High, low. Those are tones. And up, down. Those are inflections. Secondly, the so-called toneless is not being described appropriately in Chinese education literature. And I think it's on purpose, because very obviously, in some cases, syllables that do not have okay, not a syllable per se. It's almost without a syllable, very short, very dead, at the end of a breath. We're not giving it new breath. It's just at the end of something, and it's not given an accent. So what we call the 5th and 6th, or the number 5, number 6 in the series, those are actually tones, high and low. That's how you pronounce those, high, low. And we're going to change what those are, the names for those. We'll call those alt, bas, because we already used the words high, low for number 1 and number 3 in the sequence. And so these short syllables which are not given accents are numbers 5 and number 6. And that means that it's very short, not accented, high tone and a low tone, like that. So, and altogether you need to know that these things exist. Now when a Chinese does not write the tone for you, they don't have a marking, then you will have to guess. Is this going to be pronounced high or low? Alt, bas. You listen to what they say. Hopefully you have an MP3 or recording, and you imitate that, because they're not telling you. Now in any literature that I write, I'll write a 5 or a 6, and I'll be specific about what's happening. Now, some synopsis of that. Let's do all 6 in the series together. High, high, up, up, low, low, down, down, alt, bas. There you go. So you practice this series, high, up, low, down, alt, bas. High, up, low, down, alt, bas. And then you'll get the sense of how this pronunciation works, and you can ignore the dippy sign over the third in the series. They'll write a dippy sign in the pinyin, and the way I see that is an arrow pointing down, meaning it's a low tone, because you don't want to get on the dippy thing. Now, a free course that I'm aware of is the BBC course. Again, it teaches the dippy thing. Ignore that. Just know it's low. There you go. You got it. And we've got nseku.com. I'll put a link to that on the bottom. This is where you can handwrite characters on your screen, look up characters from pinyin or from their meaning, and it's a fairly vast dictionary. The only problem is it works slow sometimes. It's not a really reliable thing. And remember to exchange lessons with people over Skype. You can go to message boards and say, I want a language partner, and you can exchange English lessons for Chinese lessons, half-hour each. Do that over Skype or Gmail chat or XChat, whatever. Oh yeah, Tiny Chat, something like that. Get involved in these groups and study groups. Look for those social groups where you can find more free courses, free things for learning Chinese. You may see an ad in your community for Confucius Institute courses, and the number one problem with Confucius Institute is that they teach the not real Chinese. They teach the dippy number 3, and They do not plan their courses, so the price looks really good, but then their teachers are bad. They don't prepare their classes, and so better to just get some good lessons at home for free than some cheap lessons out there from people that don't know what they're talking about and who don't prepare their courses. And so right now I'm going to recommend against Confucius Institute, and until they get their act together. There has been a problem in the States where, a lot of Chinese are getting jobs as teachers, like in New York City, and they don't prepare their classes, and they negatively influence learning environment in foreign countries. So you're probably not going to get a good teacher who's Chinese. I have never seen one, a particularly good teacher who's Chinese. So they need to get more serious about education, and they need to maybe understand their own language a little better, teach things in a practical way which white people can understand and practice and succeed at. And my Chinese language is indistinguishable from a native, so I've been a translator since 2001, and I don't know, I've probably translated some 20-30 books, some 5 different movies. So I'm an authority on the subject, and this is my recommendation. Watch this video again, get your tones and inflections in order. High, up, low, down, up, bas. And then head to bbc.com languages and get your free Chinese course. Om, everyone. Om, brothers. Jai Prabhupada, yes? So this video will be how to learn Chinese for free. I am steadfastly against paying money to learn any language, and I believe that all languages can be learned for free online with materials available. Lesson here on what real Chinese is, and you have to avoid the scholastic, well, we call them scholartards. They're people that oppress the students, and they're trying to get more money from the students, and their curriculum doesn't make any sense, and the object is to get you to completely dependent forever on schools, teachers, and constantly paying them money. And so there exists, just like in Korean, there exists a scholastic Chinese that is propagated by scholartards, and there is the practical, actual Chinese that is spoken. And what we're here for today, of course, is the second one. And if you want to learn Chinese for free, you're going to need to filter out the scholartard Chinese and avoid any apparition of this scholartard Chinese. And the number one aspect of the scholartard Chinese is the dippy third tone. And they tell you that there are 4 tones. This is the scholartard version. And there's a lot of social networking tools to your advantage. You don't even necessarily have to go to a country in order to practice speaking their language or using their language. So here we go. How to learn Chinese for free. The first caveat I have to do is make a little